What's going on, Salt and Pepper family? It's Giovanni. Welcome back to the channel where we bring that good old pickle and pasión, you guys. Today we are going to be checking out a paddle from Diadem. Yes, the Diadem BluCore Power Pro. This is a 16mm paddle. Now, if you're someone who loves a paddle that can definitely bring the heat but still lets you slow things down when the point calls for it, this one might be worth taking a serious look at, you guys. I had some time on the court with it, and today we're going to be talking about what I liked, where I think it shines, who's it going to be for, and whether it deserves a spot in your bag. So let's jump into this review. Now, real quick, let's go ahead and let's knock out a couple of the important specs here that I want you guys to know about. This is an elongated paddle. It's 16.5 inches long, gives you that little bit of extra reach. It has a 5.7-inch handle when measured from the butt cap to where the tape meets the throat. Guys, plenty of room for a tui. Plenty of room for a tui. And if you don't have a tui, guys, more than enough room for a one-handed backhand. More than enough room. So, always awesome. Then this is actually a full foam paddle, and it does come with a EVA foam perimeter around the edges just to give you that added stability and forgiveness. So on paper, it sounds like Diadem wanted to build a paddle that could hit big without becoming difficult to control. So did they pull it off? Honestly, I think they did. But the very first thing I noticed was just how balanced this paddle feels. You know those paddles where it feels like every swing wants to launch the ball to the next country? This isn't that. This still has plenty of power, but it feels more composed. Instead of fighting the paddle, I feel like I was able to work with it. It has enough pop to definitely finish some points and plenty of control that I wasn't scared to speed up or scared of any of my resets when I needed to. That's a combination, of course, that I really enjoy. Now, a couple of places that I really like this paddle at. One was the baseline. Man, from the baseline, this paddle is confidence inspiring. Drives come off with plenty of pace. It's not a powerhouse. It's not a powerhouse. It is not a boomstick. It's not a loco. It's not the Fuse or the Paco Fuse. It's not any of those paddles, but if this has controllable power. The more power you put into it, the more you get out of it. So there you go. It is a 16mm core, but again, this doesn't feel wild and it does not feel unpredictable. I could swing aggressively while still feeling that I had control over my placement. The elongated shape also gives you that little extra reach for wide balls when you're stretched out, which of course with an elongated I always appreciate. Because I kind of tend to lean more towards the elongated for that reason, because I'm always reaching instead of doing that half extra step or that full aggressive step. Then number two, the transition zone. This is where I think the 16mm version really separates itself. I really feel like the thicker core does a really fantastic job of absorbing pace. When players were speeding up the ball at me, resets felt easier than I expected. The paddle doesn't feel overly soft. It still has a little bit of firmness, like it's not that hollow paddle, but it takes just enough pace off the ball to help you stay in control. That power sink foam around the edge also adds some noticeable stability. Even though I did add a little bit of weight over here to the sides of the paddle, I added a 3-inch strip of 1 gram per inch from Bodie Pickleball. I only added it because I just wanted a little bit more stability and then a little bit more plow through the ball. So on my swing, I favor like a little bit heavier of a paddle, so that way I can actually like take a nice swing and have the paddle do just a little bit of the work for me. But with this setup, I mean, off-center shots don't punish you nearly as much as I expected in the beginning. Once I beefed it up just a little bit, those little mishits that normally, like, you know, flutter off. I mean, this paddle keeps them playable, keeps them in play. Then in number 3 was around the kitchen. The control really starts to shine. I mean, my dinks definitely felt consistent. Cross-court exchanges just stayed predictable. I never felt like I had to baby the ball any. I mean, when it was time to attack though, boom, the power was still there. That's actually what surprised me the most. Usually when you gain this much stability, you lose some explosiveness. But the BluCore Pro manages to keep enough pop that attacking high balls still feels pretty effortless. And then the spin, the 18K carbon face on here really did a good job. I mean, top spin rolls came off naturally. Slices stayed nice and low. Serves had really good movement on it. I was able to actually pinpoint where I wanted to place the ball. So if I wanted to do a body serve, I was able to do a body serve. If I wanted to do an out wide angle shot, I was actually able to do it, and I was pleasantly surprised by that with this paddle. I mean, is it the absolute highest spinning paddle I've ever had or tested? No, it's really not. But it's definitely more than enough to shape points and to keep my opponents feeling very uncomfortable. Now, another aspect that really surprised me was in hands battles. Man, fast exchanges were another pleasant surprise here. The stability really helps here. And once I beefed it up just a little bit more, man, this paddle stays composed even when pace picks up. Instead of it twisting in my hand, it stayed super planted and lets you focus on simply reacting, which I know isn't good. You're supposed to have a strategy and you're supposed to like know where the ball's, or at least try to know where the ball is going to end up. But yeah, it helps you to react a lot better. So if you play a lot of competitive doubles, I mean, that's definitely a big plus here, you know, with this paddle. Now, this leads me to who I think that this paddle is actually going to be for, because I think this paddle fits players who love an aggressive all court style of play. Because in my opinion, this used to be an all court leaning power, but nowadays with all the other paddles that I've ever tested, this definitely is a straight up all court paddle, and it kind of feel like it leans just a little bit more towards control than to actual power. If you enjoy definitely driving the ball, but also spend a lot of time at the kitchen, I think this is going to be a really nice middle ground style of paddle for you. I mean, it's enough power to finish points, stable enough to get you really nice resets, and makes you feel confident in your dinks. And then it's forgiving enough that you don't feel punished off of off-center hits, because I have my sensitive shoulder. I tore the ligaments that connect my clavicle to my shoulder, and I've always been super sensitive about that. And this is a paddle that I didn't feel any vibrations going into like my arm or anything like that. And my shoulder and my elbow and my wrist are kind of super sensitive. So I was very pleasantly surprised that this canceled out all those weird vibrations. But overall, I came away impressed with the Diadem Edge BluCore Power Pro 16mm. These names. It doesn't try to be the most powerful paddle out there on the market, because it's not. It doesn't try to be the softest either. Instead, it finds a really sweet balance of offense and control. For players looking for a paddle that can attack when the opportunity is there while still giving you confidence during long kitchen exchanges, this paddle definitely deserves what I feel is a serious look at this paddle. It's the kind of paddle that lets you play aggressively without constantly worrying about overhitting. And guys, those are usually my favorite kinds of paddles, where you don't have to think about, oh my goodness, am I hitting it too hard? Oh my goodness, am I doing it soft enough? Or oh my goodness, it just ricochets right off the face. These are the style of paddles that I actually do really like. Ones that I can just play my game with and be super confident in the equipment that I'm using, because at the end of the day, I don't want to be so focused on what I'm doing wrong, or that I'm still not getting my pressure on the paddle correctly, or that I'm over swinging or possibly even under swinging, so that the ball doesn't get over and all this other stuff. I want a paddle that I can put a little bit of power into and it doesn't send it to the moon, and then I want it to have control. I want it to have consistency. I want to feel good with the paddle in my hand. I want to have a little bit of feel. I want to have a little bit of touch, because I still like to have somewhat of a finesse game where I can do my little, swing volleys and things like that, and feel confident that that ball is going to come right back into the net. And especially when I'm dinking, because like when you're hitting those cross court dinks, you don't want to have to worry, oh my God, if they hit it really hard and I just kind of like reflexively put my paddle out there and they put some pace on that ball, and then all of a sudden it just ricochets right off, and then it's just a killer ball for them, and then we lose the point. So these are the style of paddles that I favor. So now, if you've enjoyed this review, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, especially if you're new. And let me know down in the comments, would you choose the 14 millimeter for a little bit more pop with this paddle, or would you choose the 16 so that way you can have that stability and control? I always love hearing what you guys are all playing with out there. And if you've hit with the BluCore, share your thoughts below, you guys. You might help someone else decide if this paddle is actually right for them. And also, if you have time, guys, don't forget to head over to my pickle list created by Mr. Pickle Lee. This thing is blowing up, you guys. I mean, there's over 800 and something comments. There's over 200 and something paddles that have been reviewed, from older models from, when pickleball started up until now. And again, it's so fun watching the top 5 list that they put out every week, because it's almost always a different paddle in positions 1, 2, and 3. And it's so cool to review or to read the reviews on those paddles, and then find out why people are actually enjoying them, or why they gave them the score that they did. So it's actually a lot of fun. But anyway, you guys, always remember, family, keep smiling, keep laughing, and keep playing pickle with pasión. We'll see you on the next one, all right?